We got some new fun stuff. We got a sweet surprise today. Huge sheet carbon fiber, forged carbon fiber. I don't think you can see it from there, but we'll get a close up. This is going to be awesome. We'll probably add some Cocobolo wood with it and see what we can make. First things first, we need this in tiny little holes to make it easier to work.
We were so excited to get this new material that first mistake is right here. We made this cut too small. Regardless, we're cutting through carbon fiber with diamond plate, so we're just making sure to use enough water to keep the dust down, but also to keep the heat down. And I think we made it this like 25 millimeters, which is not going to work with the ring that I tried to make, but that's okay. Second here, we are cutting the Cocobolo. We're doing about 8 or 9 millimeter cut to match up with our carbon fiber piece. As you could tell from the thumbnail, carbon fiber is going on the inside with the wood on the outside. When we cut the carbon fiber, it left a little piece on the edge, so I was just getting rid of that to make it all a good even circle. And same with the wood. I think you've seen this before, but we just are making the wood in a workable size in a circle so we can bring it to the lathe and put a hole in it. Oh, also for this, I didn't know if me or the guy behind the camera was allergic to the Cocobolo dust. I know that a lot of people sometimes are because the rosewoods. So I was making sure that we had plenty of ventilation for both the wood and the carbon fiber. Carbon fiber you don't want to mess with unless you have a really good filtration system like a HEPA filter or a really tiny micron. I think it's like a half micron. Don't quote me on that. I'm just doing it on memory, but you do want to have good filter and collection system for carbon fiber. And then the boring we are just doing on the wood lathe right now, where in the carbon fiber we're doing on the metal lathe. You can do the carbon fiber on a wood lathe if you don't have one. It's just we have the digital readout on the metal lathe, and so it makes it a little easier to get the exact size that we needed, assuming that you did the math correct. And back to when we first cut the carbon fiber, we already messed up, and the ring that ended up being was not the ring we started with wanting to make. So before you get all excited like I did about new material, make sure that you cut pieces the right diameter so that they work. See, we were going to make a size 10 ring as the most popular, and the problem was once I got to the correct 19.8 inside diameter, the carbon fiber then was only 1.8 millimeters thick, and for a whole ring you need probably about 2.5 to 2.8 millimeters thick from inside to outside diameter. Now we're just flattening out the outside. We realized we cut the carbon fiber too small for our original design, so we decided to do a carbon fiber liner with wood on the outside. And we are now just making it flat fit so that the wood has a good flush fit with the carbon fiber going out. And we're going back to the wood lathe to bore out the Cocobolo, and we are just doing it by feel. You'll see with this boring tool, because it's not super accurate all the time, the last bit right before it goes in, I go in 2 or 3 times without making the boring tool any bigger, and it takes off a little bit at a time, just enough. So if you are just really close, don't move the little notch at all. Just go in and out a couple times in the same setting, and you'll probably get what you're looking for. Here it is here. So I just go in the same setting. We just take off just barely enough material. It would go twice without changing the settings at all. And once we go through, we get just a darn perfect fit right there. So when we go to do the glue up, I will scuff up this wood with, I think, 120 is it? Just to make it glue up a little better. I will then use a black CA I chose to go with because it matches both with the carbon fiber as well as the Cocobolo wood is darker wood, and so the edges soaked up the black really well, and I think it just looks great. So here I'm just making sure that there's no gaps between the carbon fiber and the wood. And then just spread it all around. And then the piece that I'm on top of, by the way, you've probably seen a couple videos. I just use a piece of acrylic that I use to do all of my gluings on. It just makes it a lot cleaner. I don't get glue all over the table. I don't get glue on a paper towel. So I would recommend it if you have somewhere to get acrylic from. And then once we got it all dry here, I just bring it to the metal lathe. Reason why it just is easier to keep it all even, flush, flat, to get a good fit. And then also I could use the digital readout again to get that exact 2.5 to 2.8 millimeters thickness, because I can get it flat, zero out the draw, and then calculate to where it's exactly 2.5 without me having to take it off and measure it all the time. And once we got it to the right size, I'm just gonna take it 220. I'm not gonna sand more than 220. It just doesn't need it, in my opinion. And then I will use the acetone to clean it up, get all the dust off. Doing thin layers of CA glue finish just for the first couple of layers, and then I will go down to the 200 RPM and do a few droplets, just like you've probably seen in a couple other videos of mine. And to me, it's just the easiest way to get a nice clean finish on it, as well as it doesn't take forever. Also, you can see my piece of acrylic also catching any drop-offs of the finish if they do happen. And also, if you've not used aerosol accelerator for the CA glue, I'd recommend it. It comes out, you can really control how much comes out, so you don't have to, like the spray, it's harder to control how much the little spray bottle comes out. In the aerosol container, you really can control to make sure you don't get too much to ruin the finish. That is something that we have. We have a BSI accelerator, or CA accelerant on our website in the aerosol cans. We also have the little pumps as well. And right after the finish is done, I take a 400 to really just clean it up. And then 800. And then 1500, and then just go to the polishing wheel. CA glue, honestly, you only need to go to about 800 to get a really good polish on it, but it's soft enough that it works just fine. And we just got this new polishing wheel. It's adjustable. I put a link in the description, so take a look at that. It works pretty darn well. And then to the ring, the finish ring, it turned out pretty good. I really like the look of the Cocobolo wood. It's pretty wood. The carbon fiber, we lost a lot of the forged look that was on the top and bottom of it. However, we also didn't get a lot of carbon fiber to look at because I made too many mistakes in making the carbon fiber too small. So I think I'm going to try it again with the same carbon fiber and see how it looks on the outside of the ring. And I think it will look pretty darn good. So maybe that will be coming up. We'll also post this on Instagram, so take a look at that as well as our website for any supplies. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.